Hey, thanks for staying with us here on Daybreak, and it's time for the press review. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. We begin with our sister publication ThisDay, and it's leading with 4.56 trillion naira encumbrances. Nnpc to shed toxic liabilities in 2022, says Kyari. He also says the company will be the largest capitalized, most profitable in Africa. Other headlines on the front page of ThisDay. It's time to use force to tackle terrorists, Buhari tells military. And farmers count gains of Encumbrances scheme to unveil mega rice pyramid. Remember, that event will hold here in the nation's capital. We'll bring you details as it unfolds. And that's the front page of ThisDay this morning.
Come along with me. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. Fuel subsidy crisis. States kick as the Nnpc continues deductions. Federal Account Allocation Committee meets on Wednesday. There's more. NDLEA, that's the drug law enforcement agency in the country, intercepts Kebbi Kano-bound 1.5 million naira tramadol, seizes Lagos ports drugs. PDP governors meet to decide on 2023 zoning to advise on the National Working Committee. There's more. Nigeria's debt stock hits 39.6 trillion naira in 11 months. An electoral bill takes front burner as the National Assembly resumes tomorrow.
Well, the nation is focusing on politics, leading Buni APC chiefs in crucial rally on zoning convention. Rider, PDP, nobody can stampede us on presidential ticket. Opposition governors meet. And Buhari renews crackdown on bandits, order to military. President writes Niger government on directive to defense headquarters. Gunmen on bikes sack Kaduna village. Tinubu hopeful on end to insecurity. Above the nameplate, very quickly, Olubadan high chiefs to debate legal hurdles. And UK scraps tests for vaccinated travelers from January 26. Jega urges National Assembly to drop direct primary clause, states to share $750 million for fiscal transparency.
Moving on now to the Tribune newspaper. Convention, how APC may decide presidential chairmanship aspirants' fate. That's on page 24. Uneasy calm hits aviation sector over lopsided appointments. And the social group Serap writes President Buhari seeking a copy of agreement with Twitter. PDP governors meet in Port Harcourt, that's the River State capital, today. President Buhari orders the military to take action in Niger State. That's on page 226 and 27. It comes as gunmen have abducted 28 people and 3 are feared killed. And some families are saying they paid over 200 million naira in ransom to bandits.
Let's take a look at the major headlines on the international front pages, shall we? The Daily Telegraph reports that the Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been questioned by Sue Gray, who is leading an investigation into allegations of parties at Downing Street while coronavirus restrictions were in place. Her report could be published as early as this week, and that's according to the paper.
A quick one look now at The Guardian. Prime Minister accused of attacking the BBC to save his own skin, and a British man named in US synagogue terror act.
Meanwhile, the Daily Mail accuses or focuses on the actions of the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, after a photograph emerged. Sir Keir was drinking with colleagues during a lockdown as well.
The Times now, Prime Minister calls in military to stem flow of migrants, and Texas synagogue gunman was British.
The Independent has a picture of tennis number 1 Novak Djokovic departing Australia. Simply put, deported Djokovic leaves Australia. But there's a leading story there on the front page. Fears for child refugees, wrongly deemed adults. Vulnerable youngster forced to share bed with stranger.
And last from the Financial Times, GSK and Pfizer hold out a £460 billion consumer arm bid from Unilever.
Let's bring in Emmanuel Bello for the press review this morning. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Great to see you. Start of a new week. Beginning with this day, as usual, The president has been speaking about the insecurity in the country. This time around, he's telling the military to tackle the situation with force, as he writes the government of Niger State, where we've seen some unrest in recent times, some killings. But it's not just Niger State. We're seeing it in Zamfara. We're seeing it even in Katsina. Emmanuel Bello, how strong are these words from the president? Do they hold waters? What difference would they make? Should we hold our breath? Should we not?
Good morning, this one's, and welcome to the start of the week. The working week. Of course, those are strong words from the president, and Nigerians are tired of hearing this. I'm sure the first reaction from Nigerians is like, do we really even need this kind of directive from the president before the military swing into action? But of course, it's maybe rules of engagement. He's the commander-in-chief, and he's talking tough. Those talks do help to hear the president not losing out, because at one point it actually looks like some form of surrendering. You have some of these bandits actually taking up roads. The images that came out of the weekends were really frightening. Even with military formation, police, the police, training or schools in places like Wolves are being attacked. And, gives the impression that something really is wrong. It's like almost as if we're losing the fight. So to wake up Monday morning and ThisDay is saying that, and the papers are reporting that the president is tough on this, he's still talking tough, still asking his commanders to go after the bandits in more ferocious way. At least it gives some form of, some form of relief. To know that we're still on top of this. But you're right, that's why the images we're getting across some of these states are very disturbing. That of Niger State should worry about almost everyone, because Niger State is just some miles away here and close to the Abuja itself. So it's no longer things that we hear about in some far off places. This is not just data anymore or some reports. These are real real things that are happening around us and almost coming close home. So hearing the president say that through his spokesperson, saying, well, his commanders should go after these bandits. Some will say, do they really need to be told to do that, or is it not an emergency already? But hearing the president say that, that he's actually, remember he said that he has got 17 months to crush this situation. So maybe this is part of the efforts he's making to see that in those 17 months he's able to do it. But by and large, a lot of people are wondering whether the situation has really gone out of hand, and if this president is in control. And if he is, he's using reports like this to show that, look, he's still in touch with the situation and actually still having plans of crushing the bandits and the crisis of terror around the country.
Wait to see how that pans out. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper now. Electoral bill takes front burner as National Assembly resumes on Tuesday. Today, though, governors from the opposition People's Democratic Party are meeting in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, and on Wednesday all the governors from the 36 states will be meeting as well, and according to a spokesperson for the forum, it's to discuss pressing national issues. 2023 is around the corner and we're expecting the PDP to say something. What should we expect from their meeting today?
Well, the PDP seems to be getting its act together compared to that of the APC that is still, in some form of disarray. They couldn't agree on even a date as at last night when the governors met, but they passed the vote of confidence on the chairman of the party. PDP seems to be on solid ground. The problem probably the party is going to be faced with is the issue of zoning. That may be an internal crisis for the party, but then it's not just the PDP, but also the APC. And when you compare both parties, PDP seem to be actually getting its act together, though of course with some internal wranglings. The APC is actually having a tough time getting anything correctly. They can't even they are sure of February as the month for their meeting, their national convention, but they are not too sure of the date. The weekend they played around some dates. Some people say 26, some people say 25, 25th. Nobody is sure again of the date. So those are the sign of the kind of crisis that the APC is facing. And some people will say that, well, it's just symbolic of the way the APC itself has actually ruled this country in some instances. But the PDP, of course, trying to get its act together, got their national leadership together and some offices, seem not to have the kind of troubles they're having, but they're meeting to look at the issue of zoning and where they will zone the presidency. A lot of people believe that that will be a very thorny issue, not just for the PDP, but even also for the APC, which seem to be what is actually causing the problem. APC yesterday trying to rally its base together, say that, pass a vote of confidence on its leadership, trying to also solve some of its problem. But you are right, it's 2023 around the corner. We'll be seeing a lot of this kind of meetings and stories, and getting behind the stories will be the huge, giveaway that reporters and newspapers will be giving readers to see what is happening behind the scene, who is meeting who is talking to who, what kind of realignments are happening, what are they discussing in this meeting. Not necessarily what they tell us, but to also get behind the story to know what is really happening.
And as we count down to the 2023 elections and this politicking going around within the political parties, especially the major ones, the legal document, the most essential thing needed to enhance the process, is hanging in limbo, so to say. And as the National Assembly resumes this week, Emmanuel Bello, what do you hope to see, really? Some have questioned that the executive arm of government is led by the APC, the National Assembly is led by the APC. Do you foresee a situation where we would see a speedy process from the National Assembly back to the President to assent to this bill? Because over the weekend, the electoral body was crying out to say we have barely a year and the electoral law should be in place by a year. Emmanuel, what do you think? This week should be busy for the National Assembly, shouldn't it?
It should be where there's serious governance and there's serious leadership. It should be a busy week, and it should be one that, both arms are able to work together to, like you say, the most important document for even the election itself. Some of these things, get people to worry whether we're even going to have a transition at all, whether there's going to be an election, like Kenneth was asking one time here. But yes, I expect a busy National Assembly. They've had a very generous holiday, many days, and then now they are back to work. They should be able to work around some of these issues. The president also indicating that he could actually still give that document a second look with some amendments. Like you are saying, this is a very important week for the National Assembly to look at that document and see whether, I think the thorny issue there is that of direct primaries, where the president actually, contradicting himself. On one hand, he said, well, I believe in direct primaries. I've been a product of that. I've been a beneficiary of direct primary, but I can't just sign this. So why? What's happening? It was a battle between the governors and the members of the National Assembly, and it appears the governors won. But the president is saying that, look, I can still give that document a second look. So yes, the National Assembly is back. Should be able to look into that, into that document and see whether some form of victory can be egged out of it.
Speaking well, Emmanuel, still talking about President Muhammadu Buhari, Ohaneze Ndigbo, the Southeast Group and Southeast governors are looking forward to meeting with President Buhari to insist on a political situation with regards to the leader of IPOB, the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Will this second meeting yield any results? I mean, the president has said before, well, let him face the courts quickly in 30 seconds.
No, well, he said that in those televised interviews where he said, look, it's almost like a closure here for him. It's not Nnamdi Kanu should face the law and all of that, but Nnamdi Kanu's kinsmen are making this effort, which is commendable, to see whether, look, the president can give it a second look. This president in the past has been known to be someone who gives some of these issues a second look, almost like contradicting himself, as for instance with the Electoral Act. So they are hoping that, look, beyond those interviews, maybe this president will be able to rethink his stand on a very important issue in the polity.
So much, Emmanuel Bello, for the review this morning. Much appreciated.